Okay, happy Friday. Happy Friday. I feel like I haven't been on in a while, but actually, I think I saw you guys last week with a market update. And, things are so interesting. So interesting. We haven't seen this in the things that we're seeing right now, we haven't seen in a long time, probably since 2008. And I don't think we're in the 2008 market. So I don't want to freak anybody out, but there are some similarities. And then there's a lot of similarities to like 1979. And I wasn't selling back then, but I certainly was selling in 2008. We're seeing inflation go up, we've seen interest rates go up. And one thing we're noticing right now, because the topic du jour is whether prices are coming down. So we're going to tackle that today. We're going to talk about, where are prices right now? What's happening? I mean, are they plateauing? Are they going down? Are they plummeting? By how much? So we're going to answer that. I do want to talk about our black and white ball that's coming up in 2.5 weeks, right on November 12th. And I want to thank a few people around that, and also want to talk about property management, long-term rentals, short-term rentals, and what we're seeing around that. So really interesting things. I feel like I need to give you a little bit of we're on the ground floor. The interesting thing about what I do is I get to hear all the stories from buyers and sellers and agents. I can tell you exactly what's going on. Like, we're definitely on the front lines. What you hear from the news is probably about 3 months behind, and if it's accurate for that matter. But I can tell you exactly what's happening. So if you haven't subscribed, if you're new to our channel here, Realty Executives, please subscribe and like our video and share it. In fact, somebody that needs to really see it, go ahead and share it with someone else, or don't share it and just rip off the information you get from me, and it'll make you look smart, right? So do that. So a couple things. Let's start with the black and white ball, November 12th. If you're interested in, this is the Alzheimer's event that we're doing. And if you're interested in participating, buying tickets, it's going to be a fun event. We're going to have a live auction, silent auction. And, I'm seeing here, reading this, we've got art, we've got lottery trees, we've got gift cards, we've got liquor baskets, we've got a cruise. I know some jewelry is going to be involved. We've got a lot of great sponsors. Actually, I want to thank a couple of our agents, Melissa Hunikins, Sheila Davis, Candace Busey, and I think Charmaine as well. I call her Charmazing. I think that's right. I don't think I'm missing anybody. Nothing but Bunt Cakes. Bunt Cakes. I want to thank them as well. Good job by all. Also, Mickey Wool, who's done an incredible job in really putting this together, as she always does. So that's the thing. November 12th, if you want tickets, 352-753-7500, 352-753-7500 for tickets. All of it goes to charity. It all goes to the Alzheimer's organization, and it's become our pet project. So really proud of that. So that's the thing. Second thing is let's talk about rentals. Let's talk about seasonal rentals. Let's talk about that. Getting a lot of seasonal rental inquiries as usual. Not a big surprise, right? Like end of October 2022, we're getting a lot of inquiries for that. But we're also getting a lot of properties right now. A lot of people that do want to rent out their properties. This is very similar to 2008 in the sense that people said, you know what, I don't want to sell in this environment, so I'm going to rent out my place, so at least I can get some rental income. So we are seeing that, and people are hopeful that maybe there'll be a better time to sell, maybe in the spring or in the summer, or April-ish, late spring after season. So we are seeing that. We are seeing a lot of an influx of people from Fort Myers because of the Hurricane Ian. People are inquiring, just wanting to get a taste of the villages. So they are asking about rentals, short-term and long-term, getting a lot of inquiries for long-term. So if you have a property, by the way, if you own a property, you're thinking, well, I'm not sure if I want to rent. Is it a good environment to rent? We do have a need for sure. So you can give me a call or call the office. Office is 352-753-7500. And my number is 352-572-3796. Call or text. So, and we've seen I'd say a good 15 to 20% increase in the amount conservatively and the amount that we're getting for seasonal rentals and long-term rentals, because there is a higher demand for rentals over the last 12 to 18 months for sure. And our property management division has really grown, and we pretty much treat, everybody's homes like they're our own for sure. But let's get down to business. Let's talk about, inflation. Let's talk about recession. Worries. Some people think we're in a recession. Some people think we're about to go into a recession. And we know about inflation. We know that when you go out, restaurant eating is higher. We know that housing prices have gone very much higher since 2019 for sure. Right after COVID, 2020, March 2020, prices started to climb up steadily. And then 2021, last year, really went through the roof. And we've talked about that before. But one of the questions we're seeing now, because of interest rates going up, and they've changed like this, is something we've never seen before, where they've changed that fast. Obviously, we've seen interest rates this high. We're just over 7%, I think, mostly right now. Maybe some exceptions for people that got locked in at an earlier rate might be, below 7 in the sixes. But for the most part, we're seeing 7% and a little bit above interest rates. And it looks like, the indications are it's going to keep going up, right? Unless, something, changes dramatically. It does look like that's exactly what's taking place at the moment. So if we take a look at, let's take a look at some of the numbers here. What's fascinating is that when we're looking at, sales prices, let's look at where they've come from, right? I've shown you this before. But if you take a look at 2019, you're looking at anywhere between 274 to 299 as far as average sales price. Let me blow this up a little bit so you can see it. You're seeing 2019 numbers here. Everything has been on 300, and then 2020 everything was pretty much over 300, and of course 21 over 300, and then in 2022 we broke the 400 mark. So the average sales price in the villages has gone up, has climbed dramatically. Now, with that in mind, the average sales price hasn't dropped, right? You're seeing from 357 January to 438, maybe a drop of $600, August to September average sales price, and we'll take a look at those numbers after October is done. We'll take a look at that. But basically, what we're seeing is we're seeing a big tug of war right now. There's a tug of war. When we look at 21 and the beginning of 2022, it was a one-way street. It was really sellers doing this. It's almost like taking buyers this way and prices going this way. And essentially what's happened is that now it's flipped. So as sellers pulled this way and the prices went up, they were pulling the buyers wherever they wanted to take them, which is higher in price. Now we're seeing the buyers have more power because interest rates going up, and there's fear in the system of like, hey, what's next? Are things going to collapse? So we've talked about whether it's a good time to buy. What are the advantages? If you have cash, if you don't have to buy now and you've got cash, then wait. If you want to buy now, I think there's some advantages to buying now because you have less competition. Demand has waned and has been quelled by interest rates and inflation fears and all that kind of stuff. But if you don't have to buy, then don't buy. If you do want to buy, then I think now's a really good time. But buy cautiously. Shop, look around. You've got options. We've seen inventory climb up in the villages. Now we're in over 260. I think we're at 262, and we've climbed up, right? I think you guys know the history, right? Like we've talked about it in past videos, where we saw this dramatic decline in inventory, but it's still significantly less. Okay, so what's really fascinating is this whole tug of war thing, which means that buyers are basically fighting back. Buyers are fighting back right now. And if you look at, take a look at the sales numbers. So this is going to talk about demand, right? We looked at, what's happened because of the demand in the past, the last couple of years, and a shortage of inventory, not enough properties on the market. And we've also blamed the millennials for that. that's another day. We saw it going up. Now, demand coming down. Look at the demand, the current demand, and this is a real key. Current demand has dropped significantly in the villages. A lot of it is pricing, and look, buyers are saying, whoa, 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 we're getting pricey here. I'm not sure what's going on. So I'm going to wait on the sidelines. I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to wait for the elections. I'm going to wait for what happens with interest rates. I'm just going to wait because people are being a little bit more cautious, and probably smartly so. I think that would be okay. I think that's perfectly smart. I'm not going to be the person that's going to say, well, you should buy now always. It's like, no, it's not. It may not be the perfect time to buy, nor may it be the perfect time to sell, because it shouldn't be predicated on price. I think we base too much on price, and we should be on lifestyle and timing and your happiness, current happiness and future happiness. So let's look at demand right here. You're looking at demand in a good way. This gives you an idea of what's really going on. So, blowing this up, okay, 115 sales in September, okay, in the month of September. And look at it really started in July, or the impact the lagging results started to happen in July. The March interest rate hike really started to impact the market, as you start seeing, April, May, big impact here. And actually, throughout 2022, if you look at the numbers throughout, the numbers are a lot less compared to last year. Of course, there's super crazy. A lot of that was predicated on, inventory and demand. But if you look at the numbers in 2022, these numbers are very similar. Okay. You look at January numbers, they're, better than 2020 numbers and any other year. But now you start looking at, July, August, September, and we're seeing the lowest numbers since 2017, right? You start looking at July, June. June was 137, June was 164. So actually, June was the lowest since 2016. This is 2016, by the way. Then you look at July numbers, 113. July numbers here, 104. Okay, so our July this year beat July of 2017, and then you keep going, and it's pretty much looking like 2017 cadence. So I'm expecting. This tells me a lot. It tells me that the number of we're selling more, and this is MLS numbers, non-VLS. And I think the numbers are going to be very similar. Buyers are buyers, better buyers or worse buyers. I've heard that before, which is like buyers, people just want to buy. There's no such thing as better buyers. So if you're interviewing an MLS agent or a VLS agent, I'm going to tell you this. Look, our only sole dedication is just resales, by the way. We just concentrate on resale properties. We don't concentrate on them. So it's something to really consider when you're making a decision between VLS and MLS, realtor versus agent that works for the developer. That's a real thing, just being real with you. But the numbers are indicating to me we're seeing a sales cadence of like 2017 cadence. Definitely different, definitely lower. We're seeing less demand for sure, but we're also seeing lower inventory that's starting to climb up incrementally, right? We've seen that over the last 6-7 months, it's been doing that. So buy wisely, sell smartly. If you really have to sell, if you really want to sell, the timing is right, because I don't think there's going to be better times like in the next 18 months to sell. If you're buying with cash and you want to wait, then you might see some better deals perhaps next year, especially if interest rates keep going up, which looks like that's the indication, by the way. So that's a little bit of there's so much more to talk about. I can talk for hours on this, but if you have questions, put it in the chat if you have some questions. And if you have any comments, put that in the chat too. Welcome that. And please subscribe if you haven't. And our website here, you see it, buysellthevillages.com, if you want to search around at your own leisure for properties that are available in the Villages, Florida. Hope everybody has a great weekend. All right, take care.